was a fairly eventful game today. What's your thoughts?
Oh, well, I think if you're neutral, paying whatever it is to get into the game, we'd have felt you got a bit of value for money. It was an entertaining game probably from a neutral perspective. I thought Celtic started off really well. I think it took us about 7 or 8 minutes just to even get into their half. And obviously they score. We get back into the game, really good finish. I can't quite remember the scoring in terms of the way the goals went, but it was, what was it, ended up 6-4 or whatever. Obviously we lost too many goals. I want us to have, I'd rather win 1-0, but I felt some of the quality of our play going forward, some of the quality of Celtic's play going forward, it made for a really good game. I thought both teams tried to play football. Conditions obviously quite difficult in the wind, but really pleased with the boys, the way that they applied themselves this afternoon and obviously got a victory, so I'm pleased with that overall performance. Some individual performances were excellent. In the forward areas obviously, they take the headlines to score the goals, but even some of the lads in the defence, I felt Celtic are obviously really well coached. We've got some really good players in the forward areas, and it was a tough afternoon for our defensive guys, but they kept going and they showed composure. Once the game settled in a little bit, they showed composure on the ball and kept trying to play, so I was pleased with that.
Going to 3 each at half time, you feel at that point there probably are a few more goals left in the game?
Well, I certainly felt there was going to be more goals after half time. Just the way the game was going, it was a pretty open end-to-end game. So yeah, I felt there was more goals in us, and it was really just tactically just made a couple of minor tweaks just to help us out, hopefully. The boys kind of took that on board, and obviously scored a few good goals in the second half as well.
We've got our Player of the Year awards tonight. Is there any players you feel maybe for today's performance would maybe make a difference on the final outcome?
Well, I think all the voting was done before, or certainly in the last couple of weeks. But I think it was good individual performances there. I thought obviously Luke will get the headlines. He scores a hat-trick, back-to-back hat-tricks. So he's got the ball away with him. Players will sign that, and it's a good memory for him. I thought Scotty Honeyman did really well, especially in the second half, because we asked him just to change his role up a little bit to give us a bit more protection on that side, and I thought he did really well. And Callum Murray I thought was outstanding in the 10 for us. He scores a goal, he sets a couple of goals up, sets some chances up, but his work rate off the ball was excellent. And Sean Brown again in the forward areas, but I could go right through the team. Mo, Tappy were good as well. Yenna comes on, helps us out. So yeah, lots of good performances today. And over the course of the season, there's been a lot of good individual performances, but certainly I feel since the turn of the year that we've, and I've said it a couple of times, there's probably a bit better cohesion within the team. The message is that Mark and myself and obviously bringing Tappy in from a coaching perspective has been consistent all season. And you're starting to see the fruits of that with a really young squad. So obviously with the added age today with Mo and Tappy, but yeah, pleased that we've had a lot of tough afternoons. I've spoken to you quite a few times and been on the end of a defeat and you feel like you're nearly there. We've still got a hell of a lot of work to do between now and the summer, getting the players ready for next season. But we think we've made some reasonable strides in the last few months that we're hoping that we can kind of continue to build on that next season, and obviously we're going to try and recruit players that can help us do that.
Well, you'll be looking to sign more players for the current team?
Well, we've got 14 I think signed, one has an offer out. We're waiting to hear back on that. I'd like to run with a slightly tighter squad next season. Obviously there'll be other boys that we're potentially looking to speak to, but they're at clubs at the moment. Their seasons are still got a bit to go. Again, when I came in about just over a year ago, we had no players signed. We were trying to convince some to stay. Some didn't stay that we would have liked to stay, and you move on. So the experience that we had last year, I don't know how many players I would have spoken to in the summer, countless number of players, and so that experience is good because it allows us to be a little bit more patient, because we feel like we've got the bones of a good squad, and we just need to try and add ones into the squad next season that can hopefully add a little bit of quality to the dressing room and challenge for a starting 11 jersey.